All right. Hey guys. My name is Kate Douglas, and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for Events at Kentucky Wesleyan College. And thank you so much for joining us for one of our Panther chats. Today we are going to talk about our graphic design program. It's a really fantastic academic program that we offer here at KWC. And we offer it both online and in person. It's won awards and been recognized, so it's a really, really incredible program. And joining me today is Professor Heather Logston, and she's going to tell us all about it.
Hello, it's good to be here. And I'm an art nerd, so I love talking about graphic design. Is there anything in particular you want to know, or should I just jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's just go ahead and start with what led you to teach graphic design. I know that you're an artist as well, and you also teach art. So what led you down that path?
Well, I started out a traditional artist, and with the time changes, I knew that it's really hard to get a job in traditional art. Everything was more going towards graphic design. So I started studying graphic design, and after my undergrad, I worked freelance graphic design, doing all sorts of things, like from digital photography to I would actually do photography for people. I would do shirts, brochures, logos, websites. I did a ton of websites for people. So I worked as a graphic designer for about 12 years. And I noticed that people were coming to me asking me, how did you do this? How did you do that? And then I would explain it to them, and they would say, oh my gosh, you made it so easy. Like, I actually understand this. And I started to feel like I was loving explaining the software programs more than actually doing the clients one-on-one creation. So I jumped at the opportunity to adjunct a course at KWC in 2010. And then they offered me a contract to teach full-time, and I've been doing it since, and I absolutely love it. It's a dream come true job for me. Don't tell anybody, but I would do this without pay. It's like,
I love that.
I love it. I love the students. I love teaching them about it. And I kind of hit everything. I try to teach them everything that I learned as a graphic designer so that they can walk out of here with jobs.
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, so we'll go ahead and go into the next question then. So what are the types of topics and types of courses that students will dive into within this major?
Yeah, so predominantly it's going to be digital, and that's great. That's where it needs to be. But I also like to throw in some traditional stuff, because you never know when technology is going to go haywire. And if that happens, you need to be able to draw by hand and visually communicate that to your client. And you need to do that quickly, efficiently, and just be able to clearly show them. So that way you don't have to postpone a meeting or potentially lose out on gaining that client. So there will be some foundations, like a traditional drawing course. You'll do a photography course. I'll teach you how to manipulate your photos. I don't know how many times a client will come in and they just want something changed on their photo to either go with the website, or they need something that is edited in a way so that it matches the color scheme. There's a ton of stuff that I did as a graphic designer. I kind of took whatever came my way, and for that, a lot of experience. So, and I try to hand that off to my students.
Very cool. Yeah, so it sounds like your background is very diverse, and so you're trying to give that same diverse background to your students. Is that right?
Absolutely, because the more you know, the more freelance jobs that you can pick up, the better your skills will get across the board.
Very cool. That's awesome. So I know that one thing that Wesleyan is really known for is the hands-on type of learning opportunities that we provide for students, and that's across all of our majors. But I know, with graphic design in particular, I know you've told me about a lot of those opportunities.
Yeah.
So what are some of those opportunities that students might have if they become a graphic design student at Wesleyan?
Um, as a matter of fact, most of my students were gaining jobs as a junior, and that's the primary reason why I worked so hard to put our program online. I wanted them to be able to take those opportunities. And Courtney Lastly, she graduated about a year ago, and she was one of those students that the job opportunity was just too great to pass up, but she really wanted to finish her education. And so that really kind of, I guess, was the jumping off point for that. And it all starts with internships. Our opportunities come from these great internships that we have at Kentucky Wesleyan College. Most of the people in the community I have some kind of connection with, and as artists, we really band together. We have to support one another in the community, and so our students get great opportunities to go out and work for businesses. If there's a business, there's an opportunity for a job there, because everybody needs a graphic designer. Everybody needs someone who can brand their company and help promote their company, and to visually communicate in a matter of seconds, what my company is all about. And so our students are able to gain opportunities to work for businesses and get academic credit for it, and they gain those world experiences that they need. And most of the time, the employer ends up wanting to hire my students just because they do know so much. My program doesn't stick to this kind of, here's your book, read the book, here's your test. It's more hands-on. We're in the community. We're doing stuff for startup businesses. We're doing stuff for KWC. We're doing stuff for bigger businesses, and they're doing actual projects for people in the business world, and it's gaining them opportunities and jobs.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I've learned just from my own experience, that's just so important for students to get while they're in college, is all those types of opportunities of getting into the field that you're wanting to get a job in afterwards. And maybe you'll go ahead and secure a job through an internship or through one of these types of opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's very, very cool.
And the internships gives them the practice that they need to go out there and do a great job, and when they get hired on full-time or part-time. And so they're picking up more skills. They're able to work with clients. They're able to see how the business is ran. And then we have some that went off and started their own businesses as graphic designers. Brendan Harper is an alum who he started his Lucky Rabbit. Taylor West, of course, he's a co-owner. So we've got a lot of our graduates that went for business for themselves, doing something in graphic design. And what's really cool is that graphic design is kind of like this glue that holds a whole bunch of disciplines together, like business and computers. And so you have to know a little bit of everything, which is kind of great, because then you can go out there and do a little bit of everything and gain more experience. And as you do that, your resume is just getting bigger and bigger, and you're more hireable.
Yeah, that's a great way to explain it. That's an awesome point. Very cool. Well, so we've kind of talked a little bit about what some of our graphic design program alumni are doing now. And so I know obviously, freelancing, starting your own business, things like that are definite career opportunities. And you've talked about this a little bit, but what are some of the career opportunities that you've seen students go into or that are available through a graphic design major?
Yeah. So with graphic design, you could do a great many things. Andrew Morales is an interior decorator, doing interior design for like cabinets and stuff like that. And I think he's located in Miami, Florida. Some people just go straight into photography, like Caitlin Daughtry, who she does the photography side, but also photo manipulates that. We have people who go into doing screen printing, which is embroidery or kind of pulling that ink across like t-shirts and hats, and sometimes we do van wraps. We have people that go into and is working for Steele to this day. I think Sarah Ford still works at the Messenger Enquirer doing ad layout. So you can do website design, animation, video editing. We teach effects for video in Adobe Premiere Pro. We're using all of the state-of-art stuff. What professionals are using in the business is what we're using in the classroom, and we're just really tackling the Adobe suite, which is going to be the industry standard. So Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Animate, you name it, we're working through the whole Adobe suite. And then we also have an animator who just joined us in the graphic design program, and his name is Mr. Stanley, and his MFA is in animation. And so he is bringing us Maya and great software programs to the students, and great opportunities for the students to learn how to do that 3D modeling, rotation, and actually being able to move around in the professional software programs. So there's a great many things that graphic design is going to trickle into, from coding with website design to doing brochures, logos, branding. Some people like to go into advertising, and then some people will open up their own graphic design business. Others will be employed at a graphic design firm. So there's a lot of opportunity to do what you like, and it's so broad is what I love, because I like to do a little bit of everything, and I'm an art nerd, so I love everything, and I want to do a little bit of everything and have that experience. And it's going to really give students the opportunity to go into whichever niche of graphic design is their strength.
Very cool. And I know that's one thing that you've told me before as well, and something that I think is a strength of yours as the head of this program, but also just a strength of the program itself in general, is how personalized it is to every single student. Do you want to kind of explain that a little bit? How is it personalized? How do you go about helping students to make sure that it is personalized to them and their strengths and their interests?
Absolutely. So my teaching philosophy is that learning should be fun. It really should be. It's a great opportunity. It's one that some people don't get around the world. So it should be fun, should be exciting. And so I really try to individualize how I teach people. And so it could be that if I'm in a classroom setting and someone's not getting it, and I want to kind of light a spark, maybe I find a connection if they're a non-major. Well, let's do this project to go towards your major, and bring in that interdisciplinary aspect. Or I might say, okay, so your style is more this way. let's go more sophisticated and minimalistic. And then someone right next to them could be complex and wild, and the person next to them, their styles are all going to vary. And so I kind of have like the best job on campus when it comes to being faculty. Who gets to wake up every day and go do art?
I could see that. Yeah. You talking about it, it's making me think, gosh, I want to go back and do graphic design too. It sounds fun.
I know. It's so much fun. And I get to help them create their own style. I'm not looking to make a whole bunch of little Heathers out there to take on graphic design. I want a whole bunch of them and see their personal expression, their personal growth. So in that way, I can kind of give a little variety to all my project-based courses. Even though it might have a set of guidelines, it's a little bit more lenient because we can be like, okay, explore that. Whereas some disciplines, it's, X plus Y equals Z. And mine's more like, well, X plus Y led you all the way around to like elemental P or even H. Let's explore those. And so we can really customize it to the student. And even though, and this is how I explain it. I had a wonderful professor, Monty Helm, who came in with a white sculpture, and he set it down in my undergrad art course. And he said, everybody paint this. Paint it however you want to. So everybody had the basic shape. Everybody had the basic composition, but the colors were different. The style was different. Some people's was more abstracted, and others people, it was like very realistic. They turned it into different things, how they see it. And that's kind of what I took from him, and I decided to trickle through on my students. So when you come into the graphic design program, everybody might have to do a brochure, and everybody might have to do a t-shirt. But how are you going to bring your voice into it? Because your voice is what's going to connect with the client, and your style that you develop, not mine, not someone from graphic design history, but your own, is going to be innovative enough that it's going to create its own kind of, and I can start to see it like midway through, and I start to say, oh, I know who did this. I know who did that logo. I can tell by their style. And so I really get to develop their self-expression all the way through. And for me, that's kind of the joy. That's the joy of teaching, is seeing them kind of blossom into their own little artists. And I love that. So
that sounds very rewarding.
It really is. It really is. I have the best job on campus.
I like mine too, but yes, I could see. Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, you've kind of gone into this, so the answer to this next question may be what you just talked about, but I'm curious, what would you say is your favorite thing about the graphic design program at Wesleyan?
The favorite thing about graphic design program is going to have to be the students. I mean, that's the only reason why I do it. I love my art minions to death, and they're not just students for me. They're people that I still know what my very first semester of adjuncting those students are doing. They still text me. It's very special. It's more than family, friends. It's a connection for life. And I see them grow, and what I really love is when they text me and like, oh my God, Professor Longson, guess what? This amazing opportunity came up, and I can kind of relive that with them. And I think that's a moment that you can share with them. So I absolutely love the students, but I also love our graphic design online program. I worked really hard on it. And I know there's a lot of people who are unable to get to campus and have that face-to-face. So I tried very hard to mirror the graphic design on-site to the graphic design online. And I think we've done a tremendous job at it. And these online students are getting the quality education that I hoped I could achieve with them if they were in my class. And I love that. And they're getting jobs and they're doing tremendous things in their own communities from far away. So just knowing that I'm able to help someone states over is just a blessing. It's just awesome. Like, I never thought that was going to be possible, and yet here we are. I love it.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of the online program, I was going to mention this too, but
Yeah.
Our online graphic design program was just recently again named one of the top graphic design programs in the nation, correct?
Yes. And I can't even tell you just how honored I am to be a part of it, and with the help of Dr. Rebecca Francis, and it's just been amazing. Admissions going out there and helping us to recruit, and then students coming and being successful. We even had graduation with some online students, and it's just been amazing, especially to be acknowledged. We're competing with some big people out there, and I think
Right.
you can put my program up against the biggest colleges, and we are going to go toe to toe or come out ahead, one or the other. And that says a lot,
It does, absolutely.
It does.
It's very cool.
So I am overjoyed, over moon, and do cartwheels in the hallways most of the time whenever I hear about it. It just tickles me to death. I love it.
I don't blame you. It's something to be so proud of. That's, something I love talking about our graphic design program, because I know it's just, all of our programs are excellent. And this one just is recognized for its excellence. And I just think it's awesome. It's very
Thank
cool.
you.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you so much. It's probably one of the achievements that I always put right up there as a blessing, and very thankful for that acknowledgement, because it does. When you get acknowledged like that, when someone comes in, they review your program, they came in, they talked to me, they looked at all my stuff, and then to find out how we ranked, it's just not only breathtaking, like I couldn't believe it, but it's just all that hard work. It's just joyous, and knowing that our students are getting top-notch quality education remotely is just something that I am super proud of.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So we've talked about online quite a bit. So as far as the traditional student, so someone who wants to be on campus, they want to study graphic design. So what types of opportunities as an on-campus student do you get that would be different from being an online student?
Yes. So, well, it's going to be the KWC community, the student-based community. So we have an art club where they can come in and learn about each other. So that daily support, being on site, is probably going to be a little bit different from remote. We also have a gallery, and there's virtual museums and galleries online, but people travel miles and miles every year to see like the Mona Lisa, or they want to see a Vermeer or one of those masters, because they have to see it in person. When I saw a Monet in person, it was like, wow, look at all those blasted colors. And so an on-site student being able to go into the Ralph Gallery of Fine Arts and see work that's hanging and be in that atmosphere is going to be different, and probably something that we try to put in our curriculum for all on-site students is to visit and to really experience art and observe it and get up close to it. So that's going to be different. I wouldn't say advising is different. My door's always open on campus, but my phone's always ready for anyone online. So in that sense, things are kind of equal there. It's just going to be the actual facilities, and we have a wonderful space for people to come in and paint and draw, and I'm a great believer in learning the foundations. So that traditional touch of coming in and drawing together and painting together is going to build bonds, but also they peer learn that way. When you can bounce off ideas with another student, they can really go somewhere great or learn something that they probably couldn't learn from me because maybe they were too scared to ask in class, or it just didn't connect. But a peer said it, and then they're like, I get it. So in that sense, I think on-site would have the advantage. But we also get that in discussions online.
Sure. Well, yeah, that was a great way to explain it. And
Yeah.
one thing I'll add, because I've visited this and I know that it's pretty impressive, is we do have a great Mac lab for our on-campus.
Yes, and I'm super proud. So Mary Crawford and I worked on a grant, and when she told me we got it, I was just over the moon. We received $20,000, and we came in and we got the state-of-art updated Macs. We got swipe card access to allow students to come in and out anytime that they needed to work on it. Each student gets an individual iMac that they have an account on, and they get the Adobe suite, and we have welcome tablets if they like to draw freehand with a stylus pen. We have a large format printer that's commercial. We also have a black and white and a color commercial printer. So they're able to test print as if they're getting a print job done at a professional place and really learn how RGB and CMYK works. And that's something that is essential when you're designing for clients, is knowing how that color is going to come out. And so our Mac Lab, I'm very proud of it. I have visited many campuses, and I try to take their strengths and incorporate it into our own Mac Lab. And I'm happy to say that I think ours have just kind of won and beat them out time and time again. It is really a nice setup. We have a great digital lab, and I invite anybody to stop in anytime to come see it and see what we have and what we're capable of doing.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, I think that's all the questions that I had for you, but is there anything else that you're wanting to share with our prospective students?
I do. I really want to share this message with them. You don't need to be a major to take any traditional course or a graphic design course. You will be amazed how it can be incorporated into your major. Art touches everything from religion to psychology, because there's art therapists. You can't go into a church without art there. Chemistry, how does ceramics work? When the glazes get fired at a certain temperature. We touch everything. History, how was these art movements transitioning based on what was going on in society? So we touch so many disciplines. It is a great elective. It is a great minor. And if anybody has any questions about it, this art nerd will talk to them day or night about it.
I love that. Very cool. I think that's awesome advice because, yes, like you said, graphic design goes into so many different types of fields and everything. It's great experience to have, even if you're not wanting to do that as your main career. Very
right.
Cool.
Yes. And I hope to have them in class. And I'm sure that, my philosophy, learning should be fun. I think I approach it differently than most people because artists, graphic designers, we tend to think differently from other people. And so if anything, it's going to be interesting to say, what was that wacky professor doing today? So come on in and take a class from us.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Professor Logston, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much.
We're just thankful for everything that you do on Wesleyan and how you take care of your students. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I love them to death. I love it, all my peers and the faculty and staff at KWC. It's just been a blessing in my life, changed my life for the better. I love it.
That's awesome. Awesome to hear. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today for Panther Chat. You can join us every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the summer. We'll go through different academic programs and different offices around campus. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.